for another Super Tuesday Supergirl recap. I am your host, Shanna, and I am here with the doctor.
Hello.
And we are here to talk about 2 episodes of Supergirl. First, we have season 4, episode 4, Ahimsa. And then we have season 4, episode 5, Parasite Lost. So what did you think of these 2 episodes?
So I loved Ahimsa. Loved Ahimsa. Look, Manchester Black, call me, boo. Call me. If you're not married, call a sister is all I'm saying.
I have to find these pictures. I'm trying to remember if I took pictures. So he is on that new show Night Flyers that's based on the George R.R. Martin short story. Where's the book, George? Where's the book?
Y'all ain't getting them Game of Thrones books. You need to let that die.
So we got to interview him at San Diego. So I'm pretty sure when I interviewed him, he was like sitting right next to me. He is fine. He is really fine. So, yes.
Okay, so Thirst Aside, I really liked that episode. I was heartbroken because, we thought that Fiona was dead, right? And it turns out she was dying. Because, the fact that she held on that long after being stabbed in the spine, I'm just saying.
This was the thing. When she showed back up, I was like, Fiona. And then I was like, oh, so she's not making it through this episode because we already assumed that she was dead. So I was just like, oh, well, guess if she didn't go then, she's definitely going to go now.
I really liked how they did kind of the first person shooter when we see Kara trying to work the suit. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of that because I can't do first person shooters. But in this context, I really liked it. I liked the introduction of Colonel Haley. Mm-hmm. And I am pissed at James. But overall, and I'm glad the Graves are dead because they were just getting on my nerves. Second episode, it was good. So I want to qualify what I'm about to say. Well done, well paced. That said, it is the least good episode in the season. And that is because we talked about this before, this whole idea of putting the bigotry in the hands of the people of color. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it. Agent Liberty, Sam Witwer, white dude. Cool. And I'm not saying that there aren't bigoted people of color, but I'm seeing this trend that's drifting away, and I don't like it. I don't like it, and so it dampened that episode for me. I'm gonna be real honest. So yeah, that was my impression.
Okay, I really liked both of the episodes. There are some little things, and this could just be me not paying enough attention, but there are some like little things where I was kind of like, how we get here, where it felt like we like jumped from like 1 to 2, or from 1 to 3, and I missed 2. But other than that, I really liked the episode. I love Manchester Black. I love this direction that John is going in. Really being this advocate for these aliens, and also basically he's become like the Jessica Jones of the alien world, like, because they can't trust cops, so they have to go to somebody that they can trust and who will actually do the work for them. So I love that. For all of his trying to stay out of it, he can't. And I really liked both episodes. I really liked the storyline with Alex. Now we gonna get into it, because in the first episode, Kara was annoying the heck out of me.
Because she wouldn't sit her ass down.
So frustrating. But then the next episode, I was just like, oh, Kara, I feel you. So we'll talk about it more as we get down into it.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's good to see her waking up to how her naivete can cause more problems. Mm-hmm. We've been waiting 4 years for that, so good job.
She tried.
She tried.
Also, we had our first, as far as I know, Bebo sighting on Supergirl.
Okay, I must have looked away. I missed the Bebo sighting.
You missed Bebo?
I missed the Bebo sighting. What?
It was
what?
at the carnival when they went to go blow up the carnival. That was
Oh,
one of the toy prizes was a Bebo.
Wait, what?
And in one of the booths, the prizes were toy Bebos.
Oh, no way. I'm going to go back and look again.
Yes, I love it. I love Bebo. So I don't know if people are watching Legends. I assume you're watching Legends if you listen to Supergirl because duh.
If not, go watch Legends.
Yeah, go watch Legends. All the shows this season are on it, but also this Bebo thread that they have going through all the shows now. I just love it.
Has he appeared in the Flash yet?
I feel like he did. Maybe not. I think there's like a website you can go to that'll tell you all the Bebo sightings on all the different shows. But I just love that they have this common thread. I really feel like they are just giving us all of the fan service and in a way that I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad. Between the Elseworlds trailer with, Iris and Ollie and, then we got Bebo and they're just giving me all of the things. I love all of these shows, bless the writer's room. Is it Kreisberg leaving? Like, what is it?
I'm thinking it might be. When you're working in a toxic work environment, you can't always bring your best.
Yeah, because they are really, really bringing it now, and I love it. Come on, yeah. Arrow had a Bebo. I don't think Bebo has shown up, so watch out for Bebo on Arrow, on Flash, because Bebo has not shown up on Flash yet. Okay. No, I'm a liar. Bebo was on Flash.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Huh. On season 4, The Elongated Night Rises. That was when we were not watching the show.
When I stopped watching is what you're saying.
That was when we were not watching the show. That's why we didn't know. I love it. Sorry. I was just now just looking at pictures of Bebo and laughing. Okay.
Focus.
So, Ahimsa. Kara is in this suit because the air still has kryptonite in it. And literally, the one thing every single person is saying is that this suit, you cannot use up the energy in this suit because if it fails, then you will have to deal with the kryptonite air. So lay here, be safe in the suit. If you start fighting in the suit is going to max out its power and you're going to be fucked up. What does Kara do? Get her ass up every fucking time.
Like at one point, she was like, stay here. I'm going to go deal. Alex was like, stay here. I'm going to go deal with something. Next thing you know, Supergirl is causing major property damage flying through walls in a place she wasn't invited to go to. And then promptly proceeds to get her ass kicked and get knocked out. Girl.
For no reason.
Because they had it. They had it.
They like every single situation where she was like, no, I have to go fight. They had it. They were good. It really did not need her. I've never been I have been this annoyed with her, but girl, sit your ass down. And then what made it so annoying was that at the end, so Alex, while all of this is going on, Alex is kind of grappling with the fact that she's the one in charge now. Like, she's the one in charge. So Jensen turning and helping the Graves get away, that's on her. The kryptonite in the air, they stole that. Like, that's on her. So she's feeling all this guilt over cars. She's feeling all this guilt over everything that's happening at the DEO. And so, she's probably not being as nice or like, let me, sugarcoat this for Kara. But she's like, look, I told you, she's like, I am your boss and I told you to sat your ass down. So sat your ass down somewhere. And then, of course, it becomes some like big moment and just like, we knew Supergirl, and she's all like, Kara, you were right. I have to trust you. And I
actually,
was like,
Kara was not right.
yeah, actually, no. You were absolutely correct. We're all good. She needs to sit down in a corner somewhere. I was so angry that they made Alex apologize to her.
It was bullshit.
Like, sometimes I'm just... Both of those girls can be frustrating. We've talked about this. Both of them can be frustrating. Both of them can be very self-righteous and think that only they know the way to do things. But sometimes, legit, you just gotta sit down and it's not a thing of coming back and apologizing and, oh, maybe I was wrong. And like, no, that it was a legitimate ask. And Kara ignored her every single time. And again, not just as her sister, but she's her boss. Yeah. So that was the first episode. I was not pleased with Kara. And then on John's side, he is looking into Fiona's disappearance, and her boyfriend shows up. Who knew she had a boyfriend?
Oh, that's her fiance.
Oh, yeah, her fiance shows up. Who knew she had a fiance?
We did. When John was first looking into her disappearance, he saw the picture of the two of them together on the refrigerator. Oh. And he was like, who's that guy?
Okay, I was like, I do not remember this, but okay. And it is Manchester Black. Also, I think the actress who plays Fiona is not actually British in real life.
She's from Texas, and it's clear in her accent she's from Texas.
I was like, first they got John not speaking in his regular accent. Then they got this man speaking in his actual accent, which is beautiful. And then they got her somewhere in between, just being confusing. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But yes, he is a human. And part of the reason that...
Because he took that blow during that the attack on the station. During the attack on the station, he got hit in the face with a crowbar and shook it off like he was Superman.
But the way he was talking about her, and it was very clear that like she was an alien, and he didn't feel it was safe for her in Britain.
Yeah, for her, but
so do you think
it could be a machismo thing where he felt he could handle it?
I'm looking. It says,
all I know is
he says species human. It says species human on the Wikipedia.
Okay, he's on something because he took that blow to the face like it wasn't nothing.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like he's supposed to be this like Manchester hooligan like guy who's just like rough and tumble and been in a million fights. I don't know. Maybe they'll reveal that he has some powers.
Yeah, but no blood either. I mean,
yeah.
It's a crowbar. It's a crowbar. Okay, are you? Skin is gonna break on the crowbar. But I'm just saying.
So he's come looking for Fiona, and lo and behold, turns out she's still alive, and they've been using her power to mind control other aliens. That's why she's still alive. They've been keeping her drugged and using her powers. And they are doing this because they are trying to create these attacks around the city to continue to sow discord amongst humans and aliens. Also, can I just say that the way people keep saying roaches, it's like they're saying roaches, but I'm hearing nigger. So
same.
It's really hard.
Same.
Like, it's incredibly triggering.
Same. So honestly, though, if we start hearing folks using that term, we probably know that they're trying to use that for that reason.
It's too much. It really is.
Like with the hard R, even.
With the hard R, they're like roaches.
Rolling that shit.
I know.
What?
Like roaches with the hard R, y'all? With the hard R? Okay. It's just too much. So then the episode becomes about John and Manchester trying to find her and stop the Graves from using this mind control on these aliens. And like we said, Fiona didn't think she was gonna stay alive after we realized she was alive. So, you know, grand opening, grand closing on Fiona again. Yeah, so now we have a very angry Manchester Black somewhere in the wind, and he has an axe to grind.
Can I just say, my heart cracked for him. He was like, "Not my baby." I'm like, "Oh
Okay.
no."
David Ajala
Was
played blacking. He was blacking. He acted the fuck out of this whole 43 minutes. My lord. Like he came in and he said, "I'm gonna give you all of it. I'm gonna give you my Shakespearean. I'm gonna give you man on the street. I'm gonna take you from high to low." He gave it all. It was amazing. Best guest star ever. I love him so much. And also, he liked my tweet. I tweeted that I was here for him, and he liked my tweet. So basically, we go together, is what I'm saying. Okay. Call me David. Can't wait to see you on the next episode.
Brainy gets all the nanites out of the atmosphere. Yes. I'm sorry, he gets all the krypton. It's late, guys. Forgive us. He gets all the kryptonite out of the atmosphere using nanites. He figures it out.
Yes, him and Lena together. And Lena has to give him a pep talk because Lena is like, "Look, I know you shook. I know you've been through some things in the past couple of weeks, but I need you to get it together and use your big ass brain to help me figure this out." I love Lena.
Also, we God, I am so sorry. I just blanked out. Go ahead.
I don't even know what you were gonna say.
I Brady gets the nanites out of the air. Oh, we get a glimpse of the new president's instability, because he goes off on a slightly low-key racist tirade, like, "She works for me. She stays there. You getting on my nerves." I'm like, where was the nice, kind man that got sworn into office? Mm-mm. And then Colonel Haley whispers in his ear, and it's almost like she used a code word or something.
You think they Manchurian candidated the new president?
I think they Manchurian candidated the new president. Ooh. The switch was just too drastic for it not to be something going on there.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to keep an eye out for that now. All right. Yeah. That's exciting.
He was on 10. She whispers in his ear. He's like, "Thank you for your service. I've got to go." I'm like, how you go from white man 10 to a Zen 2? Yeah. What just happened here? No, I suspect it.
A white man 10 is really like a 20.
Yeah. That's why I said it. Like, I want to speak to the manager.
We're a mess. Oh my gosh.
It's late and we're tired.
Okay. All right. Yes. And then Agent Liberty. My question for you about Agent Liberty. How long do you think it takes for them to figure out who he is? Or even that he's behind the Graves, because I feel like they still haven't figured that there's like
a... Oh, they absolutely haven't figured it out. Or else they'd be all over his ass. I'll say midway point.
Okay. Like, I'm wondering if he stays the big bad throughout the whole season. And then... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking because also they haven't brought back up Russian Kara yet.
Yeah, except to show us that she's, they had her in it looked like a lead container to protect her, which was smart.
Yeah. So I wonder if she stays or if he stays the big bad. I wonder how long it takes them to figure it out. Because right now, James is over here drinking the Kool-Aid.
Is he drinking the Kool-Aid or is he trying to go undercover? Because let's talk about James.
Okay.
Nia gave you some good ass advice, told you to sit your ass still, saying it was going to go south. No, I got this. Except you don't, because now they're using your image as the poster boy for their fucked up xenophobic movement. When if you had just, and no offense, they didn't need, kind of like with Kara, they didn't need Kara's help at that one time. They didn't need your help this time. You could have stayed your ass at home. Mm-hmm. Or at Catco, as it were. Listen to Nia now, believe her later.
I love Nia. Oh,
yes.
Speaking of Nia, so I guess we're just moving on to the next episode. Speaking of Nia, her and Brainy run into each other again. And she's like, yeah, I thought I told you to find me. And he is like, oh, yeah, I found you. And he just lists like all this stuff he knows about her. And she's like, so why didn't you call me? And he's like, you told me to find you, not call you. And I was just like,
I remember that. Yes, it's the best.
I was like, why, sir? Why? Like, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Do better.
He's not wrong. Come on, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oh my God. So clearly we're working up to some sort of romantic relationship between them. And
let me tell you this. Y'all better not harm a hair on Nia's head. I'm talking to you, show writers. None of this let's murder the person from the LGBT community bullshit. No. Y'all bet not. Y'all bet fucking not.
Also, they better not harm a hair on Brainy's head either, because I'm over here like, he is too precious.
I love him, but he's expendable. I'm talking about falling into that bullshit trope. They bet not.
I don't think they're going to.
Price out my shit.
Also, little news, they cast her mother and her sister. Woohoo! So they're doubling down on Nia, and I'm here for that as well. So second episode, Parasite Lost. So now that mind controlling these aliens, that's out. They now have a parasite that can absorb the powers of aliens, and it's in Jensen.
Because Jensen just screamed, I'm going to be a fucking problem when we first saw him on the screen. I told you.
Every time I see Jensen, I just feel like that Tyra Banks gif. I'm just like, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. I've never been more disappointed in my life. Because when I first saw him and he was sparring with Alex, and I know she's a lesbian, but I still was like, there's some chemistry here. He seems cool. I wonder what Jensen will turn out like. Will he become a part of the team? Will he become one of those like red shirts on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who actually aren't red shirts? They're like just like those side agents that we see all the time. I thought he was going to become one of those people.
He became trash.
He became full trash. And like, sometimes I think it's worse trash when you become trash and then halfway through becoming trash, you realize like, oh, I've made a major mistake. I'm like, yeah, you should have figured that out sooner. So now I'm even more upset with you because you should have figured this out like an episode and a half ago. Maybe we wouldn't be in this situation, you think? So not only does he have this parasite in him that allows him to take people's powers, but of course the parasite is a fucking parasite, so it's killing him. So it's like all this for nothing, basically.
Yeah, okay, so question, what did you think of the side story with Amadei? Like, I didn't mind the investigation, but I was like,
So I liked the side story. until Mom Dukes went off her rocker.
Oh, you mean the
mother
vaguely,
of the girl.
potentially person of color mom?
Yes.
That one?
Oh, she's not. She was Asian. She was straight up Asian. The girl was mixed. And the alien dad was played by a white guy. So it's definitely like they were supposed to be like mixed, right? Mixed alien race or whatever, right? So I was okay with this whole, I like, so Kara writes this story about this guy who's a healer. He's an alien healer. He can't heal humans. And he's like, it's one of, the saddest things. And, my greatest wish is to be able to heal the human heart. Mm-hmm. Very noble, very beautiful. Then that guy, he has like a amulet in his chest, kind of like right under his neck, his collarbone. And that goes missing. And so he's dying. They start investigating, and the last person on his mind is this girl. John goes to her house. Turns out the girl is his daughter. She's his half-human daughter that he abandoned. Except, come to find out, he didn't really abandon her. Or initially, he might have said, like, I don't want to have this kid. But he wanted to get to know her, sent her letters all her growing up. She sent him letters. Mom, basically, because of her own broken heart, never let the two of them connect. So I have a problem with this on two levels. The first level is I just find it annoying and misrepresentational.
It's deflecting.
When you have women, and I feel like this mostly happens in fiction. I don't know how often this happens in real life because honestly, like, I rarely hear about this in real life except when I hear about men complaining. This whole idea of like women, deliberately keeping men from their kids because of their own hurt, right? So usually if I've heard of a story of like a single mom who like kept their child apart from the father, it's usually because the father had some sort of issues. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to protect the child. It's very rarely like, he broke my heart, so I never let him see his child. But I feel like you hear that a lot either in TVs for drama, or you hear it from like men who are like, that's why she won't let me see my kid, even though I've never paid child support or offered to do anything with the kid. But she won't let me see my kid. Right? So I didn't like that part of it. And then it turns out she's like a raging alien racist.
Xenophobe.
Where she's like, because he broke her heart, all aliens are roaches, and and that's why y'all all deserve to die, and and that's why I joined the Children of Liberty and all this other stuff because everyone deserves to die because one alien broke my heart.
Yeah, we talk about John's Guardians of the Galaxy Who reaction. They were like, who? I love that.
The children of what?
So, who
they're like, who came up with that? It was just so like she went from I'm so upset that my daughter found out I was keeping a secret from her to, and that's why all roaches need to die. I was like, what is happening? How? It was just so extra. It was so much.
Like, I know we want you to cast more women of color, but not like this, guys. Not like
this. Not like this. Not like this. And then I liked it because then on the flip parallel, you had Haley come in, who Alex thought Haley was just going to be like, shut it all down. I'm in charge, blah, blah, blah. And Haley actually came in, was like, okay, Danvers, like, I see what you've been doing. I really appreciate it. Okay, like I see how you got the little response times down and all this other stuff. So, and like, I trust you with this. And so you're like, oh, cool, Haley, this is great. This is going to work out. Like, turns out she's actually on our side. And I'm like, cool. Also, woman of color. Yay. This is wonderful. And then at the end, she's like, well, because John Jones, he was hiding who he was and he was horrible and he was the worst director the DEO ever had. And I was just like, sigh.
So let me ask you, because Lord help me. I don't agree with how she framed it. But when I look at it from her perspective as a military individual, I can see where what John did and what the president did could be considered surgical tactical maneuvers towards an end of aliens taking over the planet. If I'm just looking at it as a person who thinks in terms of military maneuvers, I can see why they would be hesitant. I didn't like how it was presented. It's just, and honestly, had she just said, you know, I'm a soldier, what they did, even if it was well intended, the optics don't look good. And I don't know that we can trust it. I would have preferred that approach than what we got.
Exactly. So that's my thing, is that they're clearly trying to paint it as Haley is another closeted bigot. Mm-hmm. Instead of what you said, where she's looking at it from a tactical point of view. And it's like, essentially, for all we know, they were spies. Mm-hmm. And that's why I can't trust it. They really, like, they put it as it was just her tone and everything. Like, just
the way she said it, they painted her as Agent Liberty Light, honestly, if we're honest about it.
And that's what was so, because they did that with multiple characters this episode, where everybody was like, oh. Okay, and now we're back to the politics of the day. So it's basically all of these people who are like, well, I don't support Trump's racism, but I support his ideas about us protecting our borders. You don't get to pick and choose.
Yeah, this isn't a buffet.
Yeah, this is not a buffet. This is not a la carte. This is not how that works. So, you know, if you're like, being Trump light is still Trump.
Yeah.
And that was what was so frustrating about this episode. You see so many people that they really do, like, even Jimmy, when he has that conversation with Dude, and he's like, you're supposed to be one of our, you know, moderate people. And he's like, well, you know, maybe Lockwood is moderate too. And I'm like,
well, no, he was like, maybe this is a centrist view, I'm telling you.
I was like, yikes. like, this is where we're at, guys. This is where we're at, everybody.
Well, turn on the news. It kind of is where we're at.
True. Yeah, so it was just really, it was really frustrating, because they're clearly building this up. They're clearly trying to show that these people, like, all of these people have these views. They're just along a spectrum of hate. I don't know. In a way, it's good, because as disheartening as it is, it's very true to how people really are.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm saying I wish they had written Haley to be more logical in her displeasure with what was going on at the DEO. But the truth of the matter is, what we're seeing is kind of real to life. Mm-hmm. In terms of how people who are bigoted react to things.
Yeah. Okay, this is actually a really good segue, because it brings me to Kara and the part where I actually identified with her for a little bit, because I think I'm a person who is extremely empathetic and extremely, like, I want to always assume the positive when it comes to people. And it's really hard when you kind of look around and you're like, wow, people really are horrible. And by assuming the good in them, I'm actually setting other people up for
Yeah.
pain.
Because they trust me, so they're taking my word, and it's causing them to be blindsided and hurt.
Mm-hmm. So that was a moment where, you know, usually I don't be out here with Cara because y'all know how she is. So usually I'm not really feeling her all the time, but this time, like, I genuinely felt her where she was just like, what if the work that I'm trying to do to tell people about aliens is actually hurting their cause? And that's rough, because I think it's both. It's been proven that, you know, like the introduction of Will and Grace to people's televisions, and Ellen and the Cosby Show and those kinds of things, they actually help improve race relations and LGBTQ rights, and like all of those things help push forward movements, because when people feel like they understand people and they see people as human beings, funny that it manages to like move the needle on those things. But at the same time, you know, there's just some things that are just not going to change without some really hard discussion, and also with people looking really hard at themselves. And there's just a contingent of society that's not going to do that. So how much can you help?
Less than you know.
So.
I think we've talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I know you and I have talked about it. I used to do like social justice and identity development seminars. I always linked it to, you can't really understand what it's like or understand the need to fight for others until you understand how you became who you are, how you came to identify who you are. So I always started with the identity development model. And it's sad because without fail, they would get it. And then when we started talking about privilege, you'd be like, but I suffered. I'm like, this isn't about whether or not you suffered. It is about systemic structures. And after 15 years, I just lost the passion and I gave up. I'm like, the people who really want to know don't need to have someone else pay me to come talk to them. They're going to look into it. They're going to do the research themselves. This is just something for folks to tick off of their to-do box and say, yes, we do diversity training because we value diversity, even though you don't act on anything beyond just having someone come and talk to a group in a room and do some exercises. Mm-hmm. I just gave up. But that's really a part of it. It's like people they won't look at themselves. Not really.
Yeah, that whole like part of, but I've suffered. Like we were talking earlier about that, the Reddit post. It was this Reddit post about this guy who basically watched his son over time become an incel, and was like, I don't know how this boy that I raised became this man. And what was so interesting about a lot of the comments on the post was people being like, incels have this disconnect where they are simultaneously the most entitled and then have the lowest self-esteem. Mm-hmm. Like they feel like they are so entitled to things, they deserve them, but they have such low self-esteem, it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy where they can't get the things that they want because their self-esteem is so low, but then they feel entitled to those things. And it all goes back to, I've suffered, I deserve, I don't have because you have. Which is actually what we watched in the Lockwood episode, in his backstory episode with his dad. His dad not wanting to change, not wanting to move with the times, and just being like, I don't have because they have. And then when things started going wrong for him, it was, you know, all of the things in our lives fell apart because of them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and I feel like we are in a particular time. I'm so glad like Supergirl is talking about all these issues, because I do feel like we are in a particular time where those sides have become so distant and so entrenched. Mm-hmm. But also there's so much more light upon it than it used to be. And people are talking about it in so many different ways. So it's good. Like, I can understand why an incel is an incel. That doesn't mean I think that they should continue to be that way.
Right.
But I get how you got there. Like, I get how you got there. It's not okay. I just get how you got there. And I do think Supergirl is doing a good job of saying it's not okay. Like, none of these people are all right, even if you understand their point of view. So, deep discussion. Like, deep discussion. Oh my God. Good stuff.
Like I said, even though I said it was their least good episode, it's not because the episode wasn't good. There were just some places that, it kind of stumbled. And for a show that's been really solid the last couple of seasons, it wasn't, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a return to season 1. Far from it. But it didn't, the stumbling blocks were more noticeable compared to other episodes. So, yeah. And it was still a good episode. And I would rewatch it, honestly.
It's also, again, they are doing a pretty good job, because it is hard to talk about this without sounding preachy. It is hard to talk about this without, like, I'll always go back to that Arrow gun violence episode as an example. That was an episode where I was like, y'all really need to pick a fucking side. Like, all of these sides are not equal and valid. So I really need you to pick a fucking side. Like, Supergirl has picked a side. They were very clear. Like, these people are not okay. Without being after school special about it.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I'll give them a few missteps. I feel you. I really wish that, like, other than Agent Liberty, it does feel like every person that they show that's really bigoted is a person of color. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
like that ain't it. That ain't us. So,
right.
just pointing that out.
Go on.
All right. So the next episode is called Call to Action. There's not a synopsis up yet on IMDb, but I'm very interested in who's doing the calling and what's the action. Because I feel like
I watched it on the CW, so I can't tell you what the promo was.
Yeah,
I have it on my DVR, but I've been watching everything on the CW app.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the promo. So I'm wondering if this is a reference to James and his whole I'm gonna go undercover / endear myself to the moderates and the bigots and see if I can move the needle.
Does he need to endear himself? Because I'm just saying, Lockwood is talking to him like that's his man, 50 grand. I'm just like, you, my friend, I have all the time in the world for.
Is Jimmy pulling a Candace Owens? Is that what we're about to watch?
I will spit fire. They bet not.
Because that would just, I don't even know. Or, maybe Agent Liberty comes out of the shadows and has a direct call to action. I don't know. I'm just really interested. Like, that's a really great title, considering where we're at in the story. We have a lot of feedback. So
2 weeks. So.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And people have feelings. People had thoughts about this. So
you have it up?
I have emails. We can start.
Okay, I'll get the website post. You can start with the emails.
Okay. So the first one is from Hiroja. And it says, to the Doctor and Shanna, hi, it's me, Hiroja. It's been a while. And here are my thoughts on this season and last night's ep. Sigh. I just want to... The title of this email is Season 4, Episode 3, Sigh. Okay.
Wait, we read that one.
Wait, we did?
Yeah, because this is 4 and 5. We read that one last week, the last time we recorded.
Okay, because it came in. I just got this in my email. It was still marked new. Okay, hold on. I have one from Peyton.
No, that one we didn't read.
Okay. Peyton says, the Man of Steel episode was so good. That is how you do a villain origin story. The writing has been really strong this season. I love the parallels to the way the news has treated neo-Nazis over the past few years. Yup. Showing them smiling in suits, but they're hate-filled monsters underneath that suit. It was so good. The post-Kreisberg era at DCCW is great.
Yes, indeed.
I agree. I'm like, was that it? Was he the thing that was holding it back? Come on.
It's all, you know what? Occam's razor.
And then I have one from Felix, which I don't think we read. This one's from October 30th. Okay. Hi, y'all. Felix again. Enjoyed last week's podcast. I really feel your points about when minority characters are made the bigots for imaginary minorities in shows. I've been noticing that a lot recently. Us too. On this week's episode, I really don't think we needed a whole episode of this. I like Sam Witwer, but he was doing a lot this episode. I think they kind of over-explained his bigotry to the point where it feels a little too clean. It kind of lets him off the hook in a way by giving him so many reasons and excuses why he is this way. They did do stuff to balance it out with his behavior for a bit, but I still didn't need a whole episode dedicated to him.
Okay, so... Sorry. I like the episode in part because I love me some Sam Witwer. And I just think he's a strong actor. So even if it fell over the top, he delivers well. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Sorry.
I kind of didn't like how they used Brainy this episode. They kind of dumbed him down, which makes no sense, seeing as he should be familiar with this tech already, with him being a future super genius. You can get away with that with Wynn, but Brainiac 5 is a little harder to swallow. It was nice seeing John use his powers again. I know they can't do it every episode, but wish we'd see it more often. I love John's storyline this season. I love how he's decided to become a nonviolent participant in this struggle and how he's really had to fight against that.
And can we also talk about the fact that I know I was worried when they I was like, he can't leave the show. David, stay stateside, stay, or stay in Vancouver, stay. But, and you know, the shift, they did it so well in terms of the delivery of it, and it works. It worked.
And also, I think what's interesting is we do get to see him use his powers a lot, but a different set of his powers.
Yeah, he's not shape-shifting, which he doesn't need to for some of the stuff he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Although if he continues his, John Jones private investigator life, we might see him shape-shift more.
Yeah.
Lastly, I really love Kara's protective suit. I remember the Legion making something similar for Clark on the Legion of Superheroes cartoon. It's a great look. In that case, however, it was to protect from red sun radiation. I really miss Kara this episode, though. The show feels different without her being the focus. That's me done now. Can't wait for the podcast. Thanks for writing.
Felix wrote us an amazing email for the Doctor Who podcast because he lives in the town that all the companions are from. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the places that were showing up, he's either been to, visited, or knows them intimately. And I'm just like, he is now the MTR Network resident Sheffield expert. He has been dubbed and knighted as such.
I only watched the first episode of Doctor Who this season, but as you know, I am a complete Doctor Who fake fangirl. So I have already bought the trench coat and the t-shirt that Doctor Who wears, and I am totally going to catch up so I can listen to the podcast as well. Yeah, I haven't worn the trench coat yet. It just got cold here, so I might wear it tomorrow.
Okay, cool. So so this, I'm going to start with the feedback for the Manchester Black episode. I know that wasn't the name, but that's what I'm calling it. Call me.
Ahimsa. It's called Ahimsa. That sounds like vaguely racist. I'm sorry.
You notice I stayed all the way the hell away from that. Marion, hi, Marion. I didn't have time to rewatch, so my recap will be quick. Bebo. When Alex threatened Supergirl to follow her orders next time, or else, I was thinking, or else what?
Well, she was in that suit that time. She was like, or else I'm going to poke a hole in that damn suit. You're going to find out what's what.
I'm not familiar with Manchester Black, but I wonder how far he'll go to get even. He is a Brit in America who bought all the guns. I'm going to leave that there. Amani. So how they let Manchester Black keep his accent, but David Harewood can't use his. This is like us being robbed of Yardy, John Boyega, and Star Wars.
That's it. Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah.
Okay, which, by the way, I just finished the first seasons of Mayans, and I really love that show. So do you remember that season where Jax went to Ireland?
Yeah.
It was like everyone around him is speaking with the Irish accent, and he couldn't use his original accent. I was like, that sucks.
That would suck. Oh, yeah, the episode. I'm here for Brown Love, but I thought Fiona was dead after the first episode, so I was surprised we even got it that happy an ending. Same. And I'm really going to need Kara to stop thinking she's always right just because her sister wants her to stand on the good side of the strongest woman on the planet. Just because her sister wants her to stay on the good side. Yeah, you get it. Sorry. She told you to sit your ass down, and now you got hemmed up on the job. I really love what they're doing with John's arc. Same, this year. And he and David Ajala were Black Dean. Yes, agreed. I was even getting greedy and hope we could get some bonus Carl Lumley in this episode, too. Oh, he dead, honey. Thanks for the outstanding recaps, as always, and everything you do. You are welcome, my dear. Yes, all hell Bebo.
we can maybe get some Carl Lumbly flashbacks the way we get what's his name on This Is Us. Just some wisdom flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, like how they'll randomly be like, here's a scene with William and Kate that you didn't know ever happened. This moment. We should get those.
He grandfather and all them kids.
Oh my gosh. But also speaking of, you know, old Black men wisdom, when Alex and John had that scene where she was struggling and she was just like, wisdom emanates from you.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those girls grew up without a daddy, and their dad is John.
Basically.
He holds them down.
Basically. So Chase says, very interesting to see human go from good intentions to villain last week, followed by what looks like a hero or anti-hero go villain this week. Referring to Manchester Black. Is he going villain or is he getting revenge for them murdering his boo? I don't think that's villain.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, the Punisher definitely isn't the hero necessarily of the story.
I'm sure we will see more of him later. Supergirl is really good this year. That super suit was dope, wasn't it, though?
Mm-hmm.
And
where is my super suit?
Hiroja says, I love this adaptation of Manchester Black. They let him be confident, arrogant, and intelligent, just like in the comic books. Cannot wait for more. And he says it. Mm-hmm. So, feedback for Paradise Lost. Latoya says Jimmy is being dumb. Yes, girl, he is. Joseph says, damn it, I fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Why are all these people of color alienists or specious? We don't know. Marion says, the one night stand 1 million years ago, that blew my mind. She was being facetious. It wasn't that long ago. So the leading commander telling Alex to shoot and kill everyone in the dome is a military option. She told him, you know, if he gets loose, he's going to kill way more. So acceptable casualties. Again, military decisions.
I'm just going to say that's a lot of acceptable casualties. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that dome was not small.
I'm just saying, I'm assuming from a tactical standpoint, there is an acceptable threshold for human death towards the goal of saving more human lives.
All right. Okay.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I could see that being the issue.
I'm just gonna continue to be afraid of you.
Keep your head straight. Agreed. Sting, hey boo! I laughed out loud when Colonel Haley made Alex salute her before leaving. Because Alex is a government civilian, not military personnel. No one does that. I was thinking the same thing.
You do that if you're petty.
He was just being petty. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Give me a P. Give me an E. Give me a T. Wow. Okay, so I pay you all the time.
Titus says Jensen receiving the parasite is apropos considering that blonde-haired, blue-eyed white men have the biggest have been the biggest parasites on Earth in her resource. It's dark in here from all this shade.
So much shade.
Oh my. And Amani says Jimmy better not Van Jones. Jimmy is totally gonna Van Jones this.
Look, tell the truth and shame the devil. That's what I say.
He's already been Van Jones in this.
True. I mean, come on, because if we go back to the beginning, Jimmy would have never even spoken up had Nia not pulled his card.
Right.
So Jimmy already been a little bit riding the fence.
But the effects budget went all the way up this season, and I'm here for Detective Jones Gumshoe, and that is all we got.
I think the effects budget went up for all the CW shows. I don't know if Warner Brothers gave them more money. I don't know what, because I was watching Legacies. I finally caught up on that, and the second episode had an entire dragon.
Wow,
a dragon. I was like, I got 11 million seasons of Vampire Diaries and never saw a dragon. Second episode of Legacies, dragon. So, I don't know. Everybody's budget seems to have gone up. They're really putting their money where their mouth is over there at the CW, which is why some people who shall not be named, Brandon, should not be hating on the CW.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think something just came in. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. We're good.
All right. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Before we go, we're just gonna have a quick moment of silence for the passing of the man, the legend, Stan Lee. He passed away yesterday. It's been a very rough 24 hours since he passed. And I know Chris and Daniel are probably right now, as we speak, recording a supposedly short but really lengthy tribute to him. But I just wanted to give a moment of silence for the man who inspired everything we talk about and love. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
I'm Stan Lee. I've been writing stories for the young generation for the past 30 years. During this time, I think I've learned a lot about what young people think. More importantly, I think I've learned a lot about what young people are. We're going to try to present a voice that somebody will listen to. The voice is needed. We hope it will be ours.